Hi and welcome back to this course. As usual, I am joined by Paminas and we're going to be discussing the difference between a CV and a resume. And I want us to start off by defining, or rather looking at the difference between a resume and a CV.
So before I tell you the difference, Cynthia, so both documents are important when it comes to job application, but they serve different purpose. Yeah. So to start off, when you're talking about a resume is a shorter version of a CV. And what you'll find with a resume, you emphasize more of your achievements as opposed to a CV, which can be lengthy and includes all the information about the jobs, the qualifications, and the experiences that you've had. So mostly you'll find a CV may be an ideal CV, especially if it's someone who has experience. Let's say you've worked for over 4 years and above, you'll find a CV can be 3 or 4 pages. Whereas a resume, it should be quite brief and to the point. Yeah. So it's always recommended for a resume not to go beyond 2 pages. Yeah. Then the other thing I would want to point out is that in Kenya or in Africa, you'll find mostly what's applicable. Majority of the HR managers, employers, recruiters will require a CV from you, the long format. Yeah. Unfortunately, on the other side, I've seen in the Western world, most of them you go for a resume. Yeah. So here, an employer would want to get to know you in detail, which I think it's more of a practice because it's not something which is written somewhere that you have to send a CV. But you find over time, that is what majority of the employers have adopted. However, it doesn't mean you can't send a resume, but it's good to have that at the back of your mind. Yeah, and you know, job searches, there are so many changes. Yeah. For example, nowadays we even talk about an ATS CV. A lot of also employers would also require you to fill a form, you know, as opposed to you even applying directly. Yeah, so those are just some of the things to have in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And while you're talking about that, tell us when to use now a resume and when to use a CV.
So I would say, from where I sit, if you're an experienced professional, then and you have a track record, then a resume would be more applicable than a CV. Yeah. Why? Because you built a profile, you do have achievements. Yeah. So, for example, let's say you are working as a chief accountant. So it goes without saying that whoever is looking to hire a chief accountant, if that's the job title you're applying, they more or less have an idea of who a chief accountant is. Yes. So briefly, what is required of you in a resume is for you to summarize what were you doing as a chief accountant, your major responsibilities. So no more than 3 sentences and in a paragraph form. And then what you then highlight are more of achievements, and you can indicate 3 or 4 as opposed to a CV where it will be heavy on the job description, on the task that you used to perform, and then you'd only have 1 or 2 achievements. Yeah. Yeah. So to say the more you experience in your career, the better. Yeah. Also, however, there are also employers who are quite specific. So there are some who ask for a resume and some who ask for a CV. So obviously, if you encounter one who's asking for a resume, it goes without saying that you've got to use a resume. Yeah. But if you're starting in your career and you don't have much to show in terms of experience, or let's say, you are really not experienced, then I would prefer you use the CV, because then you'll be able to capture your experience in a broader way, and someone can be able to pick on the transferable skills. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for those tips. And thank you for watching. I hope you stick around for the next topic that we'll be discussing, which is how to build a perfect LinkedIn profile that attracts employers. Bye for now.